Initiating Characterpedia sequence.
He-Man is the alter ego of Prince Adam, who is the son of the rulers of Eternia, King Randor and Queen Marlena. On his 16th birthday, the Sorceress of Grayskull bestowed Adam with the power to transform into the most powerful man in the universe, He-Man. Together with his trusty steed Battlecat and the Masters of the Universe, he fights to defend Eternia from the evil forces of Skeletor.
Origin and history.
Originally, He-Man is a barbarian from an Eternian tribe who left his people to fight against evil. At some point, the inhabitants of Eternia were enduring the aftermath of the Great Wars, which devastated the planet's supreme ruling civilizations. Aside from the destruction, the wars left behind advanced weaponry and machinery known only to select people. It was the Sorceress of Castle Grayskull who gave He-Man some of these weapons, which included his strength-enhancing garments, shield, and battle axe. Now armed and ready for battle, He-Man set out to prevent Skeletor from obtaining both halves of the Power Sword, which would unlock the secrets of Castle Grayskull. He-Man would prove successful in his mission by taking possession of one half of the Power Sword, leaving Skeletor with the other.
Physical appearance.
He-Man is a heavily muscled, blonde-haired warrior dressed in barbarian attire.
Powers and abilities.
Some of He-Man's powers include superhuman strength and durability. His immeasurable strength has allowed him to knock giants unconscious with a single punch, push moons into orbit, lift mountains, cities and icebergs, as well as hurl them at desired targets. He-Man has also broken Photanium, claimed by Man-at-Arms to be the strongest metal in the universe. When using the full capacity of his lungs, He-Man can blow a gust of wind powerful enough to knock opponents down. He-Man is highly durable and can withstand massive impact and damage due to his indestructible skin and muscle density. Superhuman speed and agility. He-Man's super speed allows him to run fast enough to create vacuums and evade explosions. Furthermore, he can move his arms fast enough to counteract the winds of a tornado or even create one. In addition to this, He-Man can create enough friction by rubbing his hands together to turn sand into glass. He is incredibly agile and acrobatic for a heavily muscled individual, which allows him to leap great heights and somersault through the air. Advanced intellectual abilities. He-Man possesses the ability to communicate and sense the presence of the Sorceress by telepathy. He also has genius levels of intellect, outsmarting his enemies in combat. Finally, He-Man has displayed leadership qualities, using battle tactics to lead the Masters of the Universe against evil.
Fighting style.
Despite having almost limitless strength, He-Man can perform martial arts and acrobatic flips when in battle. Most of his offense, however, does involve physical strength, such as lifting, crushing, punching, striking, and throwing. Furthermore, he can also employ defensive tactics, such as spinning and dodging, as well as blocking. Finally, He-Man can also use his Power Sword for offensive and defensive purposes, such as projecting or deflecting blasts of energy, as well as cutting objects.
Weapons and equipment.
He-Man's main weapon is his Power Sword, which originally belonged to King Grayskull. It is virtually indestructible and channels the power of the Elders to transform Adam into He-Man and Cringer into Battlecat. Aside from being used like a regular sword, the weapon is capable of deflecting mystical or technological projectile blasts, as well as shoot and absorb energy beams. Originally, He-Man's primary weapon was a battle axe, which he received from the Sorceress. She also gave the barbarian warrior his belt, boots, van braces, shield, and battle harness, which multiplies his strength tenfold. This is achieved through the chest piece on his baldric, which is constructed of an Eternian mineral called corridite. The power of the Elders will tailor He-Man's costume to meet the demands of his task. For instance, He-Man has received ice armor for his mountain adventures and King Grayskull's snake armor when battling the Snake Men. Other equipment that he has utilized includes vehicles such as the Battle Ram, Wind Raider, and Attack Track.
Weaknesses.
Although He-Man is the most powerful man in the universe, he is not invulnerable. Astronomic impacts, for instance, have caused He-Man to revert back to Prince Adam, which was the case when he was blasted by the Ramstone of Zalacia and struck by the snake god Serpos's tail. This illustrates that He-Man does have a limit to his endurance before his superhuman strength and stamina are exhausted. Other weaknesses also include a lack of deadly ranged weaponry, limited combat experience, a reluctance to use lethal force.
Allies.
Despite being the most powerful man in the universe, He-Man does rely on his allies for help and support. Some of his closest friends include Man-at-Arms, the Sorceress, Battle-Cat, Orko, and Teela.
Enemies.
Some of He-Man's greatest enemies have included Skeletor, Evil Lyn, King Hiss, and Hordak.
Significant moments.
After Skeletor took both halves of the Power Sword, He-Man was chosen by Zodiac as Eternia's champion and protector. Once he defeated Skeletor, He-Man took possession of one half of the Power Sword and acquired its powers. He-Man and Skeletor once united their two Power Sword halves to form the true Power Sword in order to defeat a common enemy. On one occasion, He-Man actually fought pre-Crisis Superman in an epic one-on-one encounter. When Skeletor transported Castle Grayskull to another dimension, He-Man actually managed to lift and throw the building back to Eternia through a white hole.
This file terminates here. End sequence.